Yep.
I just tweeted it out.
Good.
I'm gonna bring a snorkel next time though for this background.
It's a deep dive, baby. It's a deep dive. Okay. All right. All right.
Oh, water! I forgot my water.
You got water behind you. You got
I
plenty of
just
water.
assumed this was salt water. This was salt water. I'm free diving, baby. How deep are we, anyways?
There's always drama with the Dolphins. Always. On the field and off the field. Sunday was no different. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill detained by police before the game. During the game, he had an 80-yard touchdown to help lead the Dolphins to a 20-17 victory over Jacksonville. And after the game, he revealed he wants to be a police officer. You never know what's going to happen with this team. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Dolphins Deep Dive with Perk. I'm Chris Perkins, your South Florida Sun Sentinel Dolphins columnist. That is Dave Hyde, your South Florida Sun Sentinel columnist. Say hello to the folks, Dave.
Howdy. I feel I'm underwater. I might be going deeper after this show, though.
We like it. We like it. Hey, we welcome all of our viewers. We invite you to leave questions, comments, and thoughts on our live chat. We also remind you, if you miss any part of this show, you can catch the podcast on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We also want to bring our weekly Dolphins poll to your attention. Today's question: what is your biggest takeaway from the Dolphins season opening victory? And we want to remind you to subscribe to our newsletter. We make it easy for you. Just use that QR code that's being shown on the screen right now. It'll get you hooked up to all of our Dolphins coverage on sunsentinel.com. Hey, it's a short week. Buffalo is here on Thursday. There's a football game. Who knew? It's a huge game. We're going to look back and we're going to look ahead. The Dolphins often have drama for their season openers. We're going to discuss some of those incidents as well as Tyreek Hill. Dolphins players say this team is different. We're going to talk about whether we see signs that this team is different. And finally, yes, we will talk Dolphins Bills because that's kind of why we're here, right? The Bills usually kick the Dolphins' butt. We will see if history will repeat itself on Thursday. As always, there's an ocean of possibilities. Let's dive in. All right, so look, we're going to talk season opening drama here, Dave Hyde. We know what happened Sunday. Listen, let's recount some of the things that have happened recently, right? 2016, they go out to Seattle, right? They leave Jay Ajayi at home, and the players took the knee during the national anthem. 2017, Hurricane Irma postpones the Tampa Bay game. The Dolphins go out to the LA Chargers. We know the Chris Furster, the Lawrence Timmons, all of that happened. 2018, I know, Dave, I know. 2018, they play Tennessee. They have those 2 lightning delays. It's the longest game in NFL history at 7 hours and 8 minutes. And then just on Sunday, Tyreek Hill, Calais Campbell detained by police. Dave, what is going on with Dolphins season openers here?
Well, this was a little in a completely different department than the others in that this was a serious issue, and depending on how you break it down, yeah, seeing anybody in handcuffs on the pavement before a game, a couple hours before a game, then a teammate comes over, Calais Campbell, to help out. He's in handcuffs. It's just not the way you want to see an opener to start. Forget all the football and all that for a second, because now we got real life issues involved. And, my thought was, the police overreacted. I mean, there's no way that incident in that setting, morning outside a stadium, fans were going around, is dangerous enough to put a guy down on the ground and in handcuffs. No way it should end like that. That said, Tyreek, he didn't handle himself the way he said he handled himself after the game. When he said his uncle taught him to put his hand on the steering wheel and say nothing, he said a lot to the police that he shouldn't have. And that led to the police overreaction. Okay. And so it was just, nobody comes out a winner in this. And it's an unfortunate situation all around.
It is. Roger Ullman, what's up? Dana Bice, learn how to say your last name. What's going on? Pretty Boy, what's up? Robert Booz, Zaxers. Who else is in here? Nandito 357, my man Peter McDowell from Toronto, what's up? I Got Game, New Jersey. Rob, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your comments. Here's my thing on this, Dave Hyde, and it's probably the most unpopular opinion that there can be. A little respect from both sides could have avoided this entire thing. Tyreek was disrespectful to the police pretty quickly after they pulled him over. The police were disrespectful to Tyreek. There's no reason to yank him out of the car and throw him down on the pavement. But if both sides would have been more respectful to each other, Dave, we're not sitting here, and now this has become a black-white issue, a police issue, a Tyreek issue. And this whole thing could have been avoided. I'll take my ticket. Yes, sir. Whatever. My hands are on the steering wheel. I'm not talking back. You get your 2 tickets or whatever it was. You drive to the game. You get those tickets dismissed in 2 weeks, and this whole thing is all over with. And that's really what I think that this is all about. Is just show some freaking respect for each other. I mean, come on, like what's going on here? How tough is it for either side? I'm not. I think the cops were more disrespectful than Tyreek, but I just show some basic respect. And I'm trying not to use profanity here because I get passionate about this, but Tyreek, you're a black man. You're in a fancy car. You've got a target on your back. And just behave, just act right. I know that I'm asking you to be more gracious than the police, to give more than your 50%, but you got to do it. And police, the same thing. Just be more respectful. This whole thing just frustrates me, huh?
Yeah, they needed a ounce of common sense out there.
Yeah,
anybody, because if you're Tyreek Hill and you've been in a lot of situations you shouldn't have been in, and they've escalated in part because of things you've done, and the police are telling you, look, if it's you or me and we're pulled over, the police say roll down the window, we're rolling down the window, right? We're not talking back. You want your license? There's your yes, sir, yes, sir. Because the last thing we want to do is escalate anything. That said, the police took that, yanking him out of the car, throwing him to the ground, putting a chokehold on him. Just completely. There's no way that situation should have ended with the police doing what they did to Tyreek Hill. Everybody loses here, and you know what? Even Calais Campbell loses, NFL player, NFL Man of the Year for his community work and the way he carries himself in public. And now he's in handcuffs because he came over and de-escalate the situation, he said. And then there's the Dolphins statement. That was unnecessary. I mean, they came out and said, is disturbing, and everything that they put everything on the police without saying just what you did. There needs to be respect on both sides. Tyreek could have handled the situation better. So it should never ever. It's a minor incident. Should never have escalated.
Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro.
I mean, I
just had surgery in your ears when we do it. Chill, bro.
Whether you're Tyreek or the police,
Hey, don't do, bro.
just figure
Paul Drew.
You know, he's not doing 50%, so why do I have to do 60%? Why do I have to be 70% more courteous or whatever? Because you avoid this stupid situation that we're in. It's totally avoidable, and we just shouldn't even be here. It's just the whole thing is frustrating. Look, and we all know that there's a deeper problem here, right? Or I'm not going to say we all know. That's what I'm going to say. I do wonder if this was, not to throw anybody under the bus, if this was River Craycraft or Zach Sealer or Liam Eichenberg, a white Dolphins player, regardless of their size, because Liam and Zach are huge men, you just wonder if they would have been yanked out of the car in that way. So there's that, but really the whole thing is you've just got to be more respectful when you're a pro athlete, when you're a police officer, when you're a human being. Just be more respectful to each other. That really.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden they have a short week. You want to get back to football? They're a short week, and they're in the middle of this emotional churner where all society's coming out and has an opinion of it, not just locally but nationally. And you talk about a distraction. Now it could work the other way. Again, we're just talking football here.
Yep.
Uniting the team and all that stuff, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Rob says Tyreek putting the tinted window up was a problem. That said, the police massively overreacted. I agree with you, Rob. I mean, Tyreek, he can't roll up a tinted window. The police don't know if you have a weapon. They don't know anything in that situation. So I agree that look, there's enough blame to go around. Robert Booth says Scotty Scheffler didn't get pushed down, but he did get arrested and taken in. Yeah, there are some similarities. There are some differences. You always wonder, is it the overzealous cop? Is it the overprivileged athlete? What is it? But
I think it was both in this situation, right?
Yep.
Tyreek's got to be smarter and just follow what any citizen would. Forget being a famous athlete. You're told to roll down your window by the police who's pulling you over, you roll down your window. You're told to get out of your car, you get out of your car. And you do it with a certain level of humility because you want to get out of there and with the least problem. And if you're the police, there's no danger, there's no threat there at all. No. There's no reason to be throwing someone to the ground and handcuffing them. So everybody the police just played into that over-aggressive stereotype and bringing in the racial component. Was it a black man that it sounds like they're Hispanic officers. We haven't seen their name, but the way they were talking about themselves, it sounds like they were Hispanic officers. Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty much that, right? We did want to discuss it, and it's boy, and to kind of lighten it up a little bit, the opening day drama for the Dolphins. Wow. I mean, my goodness, like what franchise can say that they've had that much drama on opening days? I mean, from a natural disaster like a hurricane to another one, the lightning delays, and now this. It's just wow. I mean, drama.
What's coming next year? What's coming next year, Perk? Your eyes.
I don't know, man. Hopefully they're raising a Super Bowl trophy, whatever happens next year, right? For next year's opener. I mean, my goodness, this franchise kind of deserves another one, don't they? After all the stuff they've been through, it's incredible. It's just incredible. So anyway, look, that's that. And hopefully we can turn the page to the Thursday game against the Buffalo Bills. let's go to segment 2, Dave, and really it's about this Dolphins team, and they're saying that they're different, and that's the refrain we heard in the locker room after that 20-17 victory over Jacksonville. We saw the big play to Jalen Waddle, the 63-yard pass, the 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill. Javon Holland punches the ball out. Jason Sanders makes the game-winning field goal. They're making the big plays. But have you seen right now that this team is different? Are you seeing a difference in using the tight end? And they did go to Alec Ingold on 3rd and 1. Are you seeing a difference in the play calling, in the defense? Do you sense that this team is different, Dave Hyde?
Well, I would say if we were saying they're different, it's from they're down 14 points. And would they crumble? Would they come back? They had one comeback, I think, last year, really, Dallas game.
I think actually they were down 14 against Carolina. The game they won 40.
Okay.
But anyway.
I could say down against a decent opponent.
Yes.
Okay. So look. On the one hand, I heard Mike McDaniel talk about it after the game, and I thought maybe they're trying to talk themselves into that. But I'm open to the idea that they knew they got to be a little mentally tougher than last year. The whole Jordan Poyer quote. That on the other sideline, we thought you guys were going to fold, meaning when you played for Buffalo. Look, they came back from 14. They showed some resilience that, okay, maybe they would have crumbled last year or the year before, like McDaniel. So I'm open to the idea that they're different. Tactically, you didn't see a whole lot of difference yet. Defensively, I tell you what, I was impressed by the defense, though. Because that was the one area I thought they're going to have trouble, especially against a pretty good Jacksonville offense. And the defense, shut them out in the second half, held them to 2 first downs.
Yep.
We'll have to, but different. We need to have more than one game sample size.
Yeah, we do. Robert Booth, yes, they were a play from being down 24-7, but they were also a couple of missed plays and missed 4th downs from being up 24-7. Yeah, it went both ways in this game, and they had some penalties, they had some missed throws, they had some drop passes. The tight ends did not have a good game at all. I like that they went to him, but Durham Smythe, I think 2 drops and a penalty. I don't know if Durham Smythe has that in a whole season. And he had that. The running backs weren't able to run effectively. We saw some attempts to do it, but we didn't really see anything consistent. The defensively, I kind of liked what I saw. I liked that Jalen Ramsey was moving from side to side, and that was something that was told to us, and they did deliver on that. And look. Jake Bailey, I know it's not fashionable to talk about the punter, but you talk about flipping the field. I mean, 4 punts, averaged 49.5 yards per punt, 3 of them inside the 20, I think 1 at the 3 and 1 at the 12. He was also a weapon. Special teams were a weapon. Elijah Campbell punches that ball out on the kickoff return. The Dolphins didn't recover it. But, special teams were good. I know now Jason Sanders had that ugly miss on the 42-yarder. I don't know where he was kicking that ball like to California. It went so far out left. I mean, it was crazy. But I thought special teams had a good game. And I thought overall in the second half, once they got things together, they did show that they are potentially a better team than last year. Now, we do need a bigger sample size in one game, but I did like what I saw in the second half from the team.
Yeah, the game didn't go to script, you would have thought. I mean, I thought this has a potential to be a shootout on both sides. The Jacksonville came out with a great defensive game plan, new defensive coordinator there, and taking away the middle slant passes that Tua loves to throw to Hill or Waddle. They tried to take away those receiver screens Chan got one for deep, but for the most part, for almost 3 quarters, they held the Dolphin offense intact, and then Javon Holland knocks out the ball. Next play, McDaniel dials up the home run ball and Tua to Tyreek, and all of a sudden the energy flipped right with those 2 plays.
Yeah. Let's go out to our text line here. And Peter McDowell, guys, can we please stop those negative passes to the backs? Man, I was so tired of those, and Buffalo will be all over this, and have planned for it. Hyde, let's talk about that. I mean, what did you see from that? Because I haven't gone back and watched the game yet. Shame on me. I usually have by this time, but I haven't. I thought that the short passes were big in the first half. I thought not so much in the second half. But when I've told people that, they're like, "No, Perk, you're crazy." It continued in the second half. What did you think about those short passes?
I agree. They weren't getting what they thought they'd get with those passes. Now, the question, I guess, for Mike McDaniel tactically is by dialing up those, are you setting up the long ball? Remember, they had the 80-yard touchdown, the 60, was it 3 yards to Waddle, and then a 38-yard or two. So, do they need to lull the defense into, doing reps? I don't know, but they for most of 3 quarters, they really weren't getting what they wanted to out of the offense.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? Somebody on here earlier was talking about Mike White. I'm trying to find it in the kind of the intelligence that they can get from Mike White. And I'm trying to find, here it is, Roger Ullman. Can Mike White's knowledge of the Dolphins really affect the game? And will Taron Johnson change anything? Yeah. Here's my thing on Mike White. The Bills have beaten the Dolphins 13 of 15. Josh Allen is 11-2. They're probably telling Mike White what they did to beat the Dolphins. And Mike White probably going, "Oh, really, right?" I mean, there's not much information they can get from Mike White.
I would think Jordan Poyer can give the Dolphins more information than Mike White, than the Buffalo needs from Mike White. Some personnel, when you talk to guys, what do they get? Oh, a little personnel information. Oh, this guy's good, this guy. But it really doesn't. Will it factor? The only way Mike White factors into the game is Josh Allen's hand is hurt significantly worse than we think, and Mike White's called into play.
Yeah. And I think they've got Trubisky there as the backup. Mike White is on the practice squad, as far as I know. Pretty boy, good morning, everybody. That was the kind of win we needed, and I love the Wilson and Ingold usage. Alec Ingold, he got the ball on a 3rd and 1 in the red zone. I'm pretty sure that was in the red zone. Does that mean anything? And then we saw Jeff Wilson get some carries also. Does that mean anything? And look, and with Jeff Wilson now, we see Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane on the injury report. So, the backfield, Dave Hyde, what do you make of the backfield, including the Alec Ingold?
Well, they're deep. They have, Jalen Wright was inactive for the game. Yep. Now, if those injuries keep going forward, I'm sure he'll be active. Well, let's flip it around. If they didn't get those 2 3rd and shorts, would we be saying, "Oh, see, they can't run up the middle"? We probably would. So yes, give them credit. It does mean something that and Ingold had talked the week before about he's got to convince the coaches that he can run the ball up the middle and be productive. So I mean, again, first games are hard to get you can overreact on one way or the other on what are they going to do. Yep. But give them credit. They got the win. That's really all that will matter come December.
Fire alarm is going off in my building, but I'm dedicated to you people. I'm dedicated to a show, so I'm staying right here. If I'm just going to talk over it. We'll see what happens.
Tell them you're in deep dive, Perk. You cannot deal with a fire.
That's right. This is absolutely ridiculous, but I'm staying right here. I'm committed to the show. Judy Williams says Dave Hyde is here, so how about that?
Hi, Judy.
You got to like that, man. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what else. Well, let me ask you this, Hyde. What did you think about the draw? I know this. Just put it out of your mind.
It sounds like underneath I'm hearing a whale sound or something.
That's right. Exactly. It's just good to know the fire alarm works in here. What did you think about that Javon Holland play? And should Javon Holland get paid? Like, Mike McDaniel got extended. Jalen Waddle extended. Tyreek Hill restructured. Jalen Ramsey extended. Tua extended. Javon Holland is some of your local talent, right? I know that they've extended Austin Jackson. They've got Jalen Phillips on the 5th-year option, but you let Christian Wilkins go. You let Andrew Van Ginkel go. You let Brandon Jones go. We know Rob Hunt. All of these guys, what did you think of Javon's play, and does it point to you need to keep them, you need to pay them?
Well, can you go mute for a second while I answer?
I should. Let's see if I can.
Look, I don't think that weekend had a bigger play than what Javon Holland. You go across all the games in the league. Jacksonville's going in. Etienne's going to score on that play. Jacksonville's up 24-7. So really, that was a 14-point swing when you look at what the Dolphins did on the next play. So that might be the play of the year for the Dolphins when we look back on it. Who knows, depending on tiebreakers and all that stuff. So put that there. Now, why isn't Javon Holland getting paid? Okay, there's some question. They thought he could have played at the end of the year last year, and he didn't play. And I think it just comes back to that. The injury they want to see, they want him to go through a year, especially in the big games at the end of the year, and see how he plays. I would assume, unless there's something in the works. You don't know with this team, because they're all about making people happy and comfortable. And so maybe something's in the works with Javon Holland right now. But that was the reason I think, the undercurrent was that some people were unhappy that he didn't play at the end of last year in the playoffs and big games when this is a team that holds players out with their hurt. Okay. And they deemed him, and Javon said he wasn't ready, obviously. And so, here in the media, it's sort of a no-fly zone to go with injuries. We have no idea what's going on as far as what the doctors say, what the players feel. That's their business. But there was some uncomfortable feelings, I think, from him not playing at the end of last year.
Beast Up the Poet, what's up? He says, I'm tired of losing to Buffalo. I'm going to get off of here real quick. This is going to be your show, Dave. So Donald Davis says the building is on fire and Perk continues to show. That's commitment. You the man, Perk. Yeah,
I tell you what, if the firemen come and they're carrying you out, I want you talking on the way out, okay?
That's right. So, Dave, what can the Dolphins do to beat Buffalo? I mean, it starts with stopping Josh Allen, but what else is on that agenda?
Well, let's start here. If I'm going into the offseason, I'm the Dolphins, beating Buffalo is my number one priority of decision making. What do we need? What do we need to do? Now, look what they did. They came up with a new defensive scheme. In part, that was a whole different matter, but they do have a new defensive scheme. Offensively, they got more components. So Buffalo can't just shut down, in theory, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and shut down the Dolphin offense. So we're going to see how that plays out. But this is, you tell me, Perk. The other thing, they got Jordan Poyer to come in and talk to his players about, we got to get tougher. Here's what they like to do. Here's how they're beating you. Now, to beat Josh Allen, you would think you'd have the pass rush, and that's where, beyond Jalen Phillips playing like he did in game one, having a sack on the very last play Jacksonville had. Ogba had the sack right before that. But Jalen Phillips making dominant plays at the end of the game. And I get he didn't play the whole game. He was in and out. But the point being, he's the type of guy you need to play Josh Allen.
No fire trucks yet, baby. No fire trucks yet. I'm staying. Mark Ostendorf says Van Gink had a pick six on Sunday. He did. And so you just talked about the edge rushers. I didn't see a big push all game, a consistent push from the edge rushers, which is fine. It's week one. We did see some clutch sacks, but what do you think that these edge rushers can do when we talk, without Chubb and especially this week?
Yeah, I look, Chop Robinson didn't play all that much. And nothing really impactful, but okay, here we go to game two. Will it be, I don't know what they can do because Jalen Phillips and Chubb are the two impact players. Now, Agba had a sack. I didn't think they made Trevor Lawrence that uncomfortable, but Trevor Lawrence didn't have a good day. So, but look, Josh Allen's his own beast. Okay, he is to me right. Patrick Mahomes is up there. Josh Allen is in that second tier of great quarterbacks. I think when I talking to the Dolphin brain management back in 2018, after the draft, months after the draft, I talked to a couple people, and they what's come out, they didn't think Josh Allen was going to be a good NFL quarterback because of inaccuracy issues in college, and that's the one thing you don't teach. Okay, now you don't think Josh Allen? Remember, Buffalo leapfrogged the Dolphins. They traded up in front of the Dolphins to take Josh Allen. The Dolphins could have easily been right there, moved up from 10th spot. Buffalo is at 12th. The Dolphins could have been that guy. Now, in talking to Dan Marino after he was drafted, during the draft, his dad went over to him as his name's dropping down in the first round. And his dad said, don't worry, you'll get a shot at all these teams. You don't think Josh Allen's motivated playing the Dolphins knowing they didn't believe in him? These are the type of things that athletes use to motivate themselves.
All right, I'm gonna do this with the alarm going in the background. Look, I told you guys to vote in our Dolphins poll. What's your biggest takeaway from the Dolphins season opener? We gave you a list of options there. I'm gonna read a few of these. From Barry Bujanowski from Sugar Grove. He says the Dolphins have a lot of work to do, and we're lucky to get the win. He says did not like McDaniel's play calling, too many screens and lateral play. And so that's one thing that a lot of people say. Also, Richard Parsons from Winter Springs said the Dolphins have a lot of work to do and we're lucky to get the win. Lack of preseason playing time was the reason behind the dysfunctional first half. We had another option that said Dolphins win, which was kind of the bottom line. Paul Glenn from Decula, Georgia, said ugly first half, good adjustments in the second half. Also, another one on the Dolphins win is Curtis Jeffrey from Longwood. He said the Dolphins showed a lot of resilience and the ability to adjust at halftime. Those are things they didn't do very well last year. Dave Hyde, you heard Mike McDaniel say the last two Dolphins teams wouldn't have won that game Sunday. Do you agree with that? Why or why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, if I'm Jacksonville, I'm walking away from that game saying, how did we lose that? How did we lose that game? So game ones are weird, okay? And to put too much stock into they're a different team now or they can do this and not that. What I took from it was the defense was far better than I thought it would be, okay? And especially in the second half. Did Jacksonville wilt in the fourth quarter? A couple of their players talked about the heat, and you can never dismiss that. Then again, they're Jacksonville. Okay, it's not like it's Buffalo coming down here, which is coming up. But Jacksonville's used to heat, so I'm not going to dismiss that. The Dolphins didn't play much in the preseason. Starters played a little more, but not much. So I'm not over analyzing game one and saying the Dolphins are really good at this and not that. And the defense was good, and I think Mike McDaniel was a little surprised how Jacksonville was so effective taking away those lateral screens and all that. But I'm not worried about this Dolphin offense scoring points. I mean, I think that will take care of itself as the season goes on.
Yeah, by the way, the fire department is absolutely going to hate me for this example that I'm setting, baby. If you just wait it out sometimes, if you just wait it out, the fire takes care of itself, right? That's the lesson that we learned here.
We're not going to get into a discussion about respect for authorities, okay?
That's right. Screw the alarm. Screw the alarm. That's what I say. Let's be disrespectful here. I Got Game New Jersey says this is a huge statement game, and then says got to put Josh on his back and let him use his hurt hand to break his falls. Josh does have an injured left hand. do you target that, Dave Hyde? And I don't know how you target a left hand, but do you have to? Is that unsportsmanlike? Is that unseemly? Is that look? This is Josh Allen, and this is football. I'm going after that left hand however I can. If I have to step on it, if I have to shove him down, I'm going to try to hurt that left hand, knowing that even if it's broken, Josh probably stays in the game. But you use every advantage you have, right?
Yeah, I think it gets to how do you target a left hand unless I mean, how do you? It's not like a cornerback with a left knee. You say, okay, we're going to make him run, and we're going to run by him and cut on him and all that. I mean, if you're going out of your way to target his left hand, it would seem just to take away from just play the game. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. If not, you got enough to worry about with his right hand that I wouldn't think about his left hand.
Mark Ostendorf said Odell for Van Ginkel. Okay. I could, I see what happened there. Is that going to pay off in the long term? Beckham is down to, let's see, 13 games, right? Quick math, 13 minus 4, at least, at most 13 games. Can he, can he be that payoff guy? Look, Van Ginkel, we don't know if Jalen Phillips is going to be on a snap count again. We don't know when Bradley Chubb is coming back. We don't know when Chop Robinson is going to come around. Would it have been better? Would they have been better served staying with Andrew Van Ginkel? We know that he was coming off the foot injury. Maybe that was a factor to why they didn't re-sign him. But is this an offense-defense thing, or what do you think? I think they. Boy, it's tough. Odell not being out there makes it really tough. I like getting Odell, and I favor that because I do think you need a third option on offense more than you need an additional pass rusher because you did draft Chop. So I like it, but boy, OBJ opening on Pup, that kind of changes things a little bit.
Yeah, is he raising a question in one or the other? Or
I think he's saying that.
I don't think they they got rid of Van Ginkel because they got OBJ. There's room for both of them. I was surprised they didn't re-sign Van Ginkel. He didn't go for a crazy contract to Minnesota, and he was the type of versatile guy. I think, especially this year with the edge rush problems. I'm surprised they didn't bring him back. Now OBJ. If Chris Greer's right, and he said that we knew he was going to miss the start of the year because when we signed him, there's a plenty of third receivers out there to sign. If you knew he was hurt and going to miss 4 games, I just don't understand it. Even if he comes back and has a very good season, as he well might in this offense, I'm just mystified that you would bank on a guy who's hurt.
Yeah, me too. True Blazer about Josh Allen says his left and right legs can be more of an issue. Is Josh Allen clearly the number one factor in this game, ahead of Tyreek, ahead of Tua, ahead of McDaniel, ahead of Sean McDermott? Like, is he the number? I think that he is because, I've said many times, Josh Allen keeps both teams in the game at the same time. But Josh Allen also goes in that phone booth in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, and he comes out as Superman. I rarely say that a player is more important than Tyreek to the outcome of a game. Josh Allen is more important than Tyreek to the outcome of this game.
Yeah. Why does Buffalo have a chance? Josh Allen every game. Why do people still think they're a contender, even though their roster certainly took a step back this year because of Josh Allen and as good as Tyreek Hill is, he's dependent upon the quarterback on some level. So, yeah, I mean, look, Josh Allen, other than 13 seconds where Sean McDermott botched an AFC championship game as badly as you can, Josh Allen's going to the Super Bowl and all this narrative that he can't – he won the big game. He's won big games. His coach has lost them. So, he's a massive headache for the Dolphins and the number one guy in this game as far as where it goes.
Before we get to our final segment and make our predictions, I will read one more answer from our weekly Dolphins poll. What's your biggest takeaway from the Dolphins season? And here's one from from Ross Howard of Boynton Beach. His biggest takeaway was the new defense came through when it needed to. His comment is worried about offensive line and running game. I've come over to the Chris Greer side. I think I've told you this. I think the offensive line thing is overblown. It's mostly the interior offensive line that we're talking about. I think Armstead and Austin Jackson did a very good job last week against Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. The offensive line, Dave, are you still concerned about them? Or, I mean, to me, it's like, this is who you've got. Let's roll, stop complaining, find a way to win with them. And that's mostly the message to fans. I think the team is okay. The coaches are okay. What are your offensive line thoughts, little picture and big picture?
Well, the little picture is this. I would never invest a lot into a guard.
Right.
On the other hand, you got to develop guards, and you get smart, fairly athletic guards in this system. You should be able to develop them. And it's a little mystifying that they haven't developed further, considering all the resources. Now, obviously, they lost Robert Hunt, who would have been. But am I worried about you can schematically, you can scheme 80% of the season. You can schematically do things to minimize the offensive line. Look what San Francisco has the same theory. They have a great left tackle and a bunch of guys other than that. So, but come January 3rd and 8, you need the first down to keep a playoff drive going in the fourth quarter. Do you trust against a good defense that can bust up the middle? That's really what it's going to come down to, a play or a two, where everybody's decision on the offensive line, everybody's theories are going to be right or wrong.
Yeah. By the way, last week somebody left a something in the text about me and Feronis coming out to join you for the pregame tailgate. I didn't make a copy of that. I didn't allude to it during the show. I can't remember who it was. If you want me to come out, if you want to belittle me, if you want to smack me around, I'll come out there. Leave me your information. I'll do my best to get out there to your pregame tailgate. And
he's really hoping you'll just feed him. Forget all those other things.
That's exactly right. If you want to throw me some food, some ribs, some wings, so whatever you got, man, some brats, I don't care. I'm not picky. I'll eat a salad. I don't care. I'll just sit down and break bread with you. We'll talk some Dolphins. All right, Dave Hyde. It is prediction time, baby. Dolphins Bills on Thursday night. The Dolphins don't have that September heat humidity advantage, as you so wisely pointed out in one of your columns. I'm going to go Bills 24-20. I've got to see the Dolphins stop Josh Allen. I'm sorry. I think I was being the good guy for the whole show, and now I'm switching back to Chris Perkins circa 2022. I just have to see the Dolphins do it, and then I can pick them in the next game against Buffalo. But until I see them do it, I've got to go with Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen has lost 2 games to the Dolphins by 6 points total. On both games, he's throwing the game winner on the last play of the game, and Charles Clay dropped one, and as he said, the ball slipped out of his hand because of sweat on another one. He underthrew it. But I'm going with we're in a sliding doors thing here, because I picked for SunSentinel.com Dolphins win 24-20. I just think this is a game. This game's more important to the Dolphins than the Bills, because it's at home. The Dolphins are trying to find their way. The Buffalo's proven they can be 6-6 and go on and win the AFC East. But for the Dolphins to go where they want to, it starts with winning the AFC East and getting a home field playoff advantage. And how do you start that? How do you start building that idea? You beat Buffalo at home. That's you want to show you're different. That's the way to show you're different this year.
Yeah. What about this? Mark Ostendorf says San Francisco dominated the Jets last night. They kind of did. Does that mean anything? Does that give the Dolphins a little cushion that, okay, if you lose on Thursday. Well, maybe the Jets aren't the big bad Jets with big bad Aaron Rodgers playing more than 4 snaps. It doesn't matter. Are those things related? I think they're totally separate. I think Dolphins fans are encouraged by that game last night, but
I think it's a little too early. I think it's a little too early to say cushions and we're now. I think the Jets are going to be a 9-8 team. I keep every year you keep hearing how great their defense is, but it's not a week to week great defense. It will have a couple great games. It will have great periods, and then you have a game like last night where they just get destroyed. Great defenses are there every week after week, and they haven't been. So the Dolphins put up 30 points on them last year, right? So I'm not sold on the Jets.
Yep, and now Buffalo's their nickel Taron Johnson is out. Is that going to make a difference? Sure. And here's what I think, Dave. Buffalo has beaten the Dolphins without Matt Milano, without Jordan Poyer, without Micah Hyde. Mitch Morse, their center, who is now in Jacksonville, has probably missed a game or two. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't seem to matter. So it's encouraging that Buffalo is without somebody else, and they won't have Stephon Diggs because he's in Houston. We know all the people that they won't have, and I'm not a big it's all about quarterback guy. But it matters who they do have, and it's Josh Allen. But does Buffalo missing the nickel, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, of course it does. Whether the Dolphins play an offense, the other team's going to need as many cornerbacks as they have, and especially nickel. That's base defense in today's NFL.
Yeah.
So basically, they're down a cornerback.
Yeah.
And sure, it matters. Now, how much will it matter? I mean, I got to admit, I don't know who they're bringing in or the experience level or how many cornerbacks they have. But to your point, look, everybody talked about the Dolphins' injuries last year. Buffalo's defense was brutally. I mean, when the game up there, they were without three. I think the game down here, they were without 3/4 of their secondary. Game up there, and Milano was. So both sides in this rivalry have had games where they have been hurt, and the results keep staying the same. So. I want to write a new script. That's why I'm Dolphins 24-20.
I like it. Rob says Dolphins 23-20. Mark Ostendorf 31-20 Dolphins. Let's see here. Wow, Judy Williams. Perk is a bad man. He'll even eat a salad at a tailgate. I will. I actually will. I eat salad like once a week for dinner. Nandito 357 calling it. Poyer gets a turnover on his old team. How big a difference can Jordan Poyer make? We know that he's a hard head, old school guy, veteran. He does know Buffalo. Matter of fact, David Furones asked Jordan Poyer yesterday on our Zoom call, are there some things that you know about Josh Allen that you have shared with the Dolphins? And Poyer kind of smiled and said yes. And so Furones, being a smart journalist, said, can you give us an idea? And Poyer said, no, I'll keep those in-house. What do you think Jordan Poyer can do for the intellect, for the toughness, for the actual on-field contribution? How big a factor can Jordan Poyer be, and in how many ways?
Yeah, he can give some tendencies, I'm sure, of Josh Allen. Maybe there's something practicing against the guy I guess I would go the other way, too. Can Josh Allen have some tells on Jordan Poyer playing safety, and I'm sure he can too. So, look, I don't think I've ever heard any great secret come out that changed the game. They're all just little things that if you're a player, you're trying to get any information you can so you get it, but it's just going to come down again to players and plays and Ken Poyer. I mean, the Dolphins are an old defense. It won't show up in September, though.
Yep. Shake Money says, David Hyde, welcome. Good to see you. And then he adds, you too, Chris. Sounds like a very, very disappointed tone.
I like how you're selectively filtering out which ones to read. I appreciate that, Perk.
Well, you know what? I got thick skin. I can take it. Hyde, let's see. There was another one that I wanted to read here. let's see here, and I lost it, but it was oh, here it is. I got game New Jersey. We have Tua. What is Tua's role in this game? I mean, you know, what can Tua do to win this game? Can he pull a Josh Allen? I guess that's what I should ask. Can Tua pull a Josh Allen against Buffalo?
Well, look, everybody has written and talked about their 1-6 against playoff teams. Tua's record against great defenses, it's the same, right? And so, again, you want to show something different. And Tua's a different guy. He sounds like a different guy this year. He got the money, and all of a sudden, he found his voice and talking, and talking at halftime. He had a big talk inside the team, so he's feeling this is his team now, not just for now, but he's fully invested in it. So you want to show you're different, like Mike. Again, that'd be another example of winning this game and showing things are different.
Yep. Here's a good one from Peter McDowell. I'm excited to see Weaver's game plan for Buffalo. Baltimore's defense always played them so well, so think we will see some new wrinkles. Anthony Weaver, that is somebody that we haven't accounted for here. And yeah, coming from Baltimore and with that Baltimore toughness, and we already did see Jalen Ramsey switching sides. I saw Jalen Phillips switch sides at least once, and I can't remember it was a third down, but we usually saw Jalen Phillips consistently lined up over the right tackle. At least for one play, he went over the left tackle. I don't know if that's a trend or why it happened, but Anthony Weaver's defense, what can they do against Josh Allen? What do you think would be effective? What could he pull out and reveal that previous Dolphins teams haven't done?
Can he bring Ray Lewis from his the defense in Baltimore? I mean, look, Baltimore had great, very physical defense. We know that, and Mike McDaniel said it was the toughest scheme to go against. And who do I hire as my defensive coordinator? Meaning that was part of his thinking in getting this. Now, I'd have to go back. I haven't gone back and look what Baltimore did against Buffalo. But then you also have to factor in Mike McDonald was who the Dolphins will play next week in Seattle, was the defensive coordinator, and Weaver was the defensive line coach. And what does it all mean? But we know he talked about it. I did a column on it a week ago on Weaver. He could have pursued a defensive coordinator job after Houston. He went to Baltimore because he wanted to get educated on more versatile schemes. He said he didn't have enough knowledge to run a defense. He went back to the team he played with and learned versatile schemes, moving players around, things that he thought he would, for his tool chest, he'd need to be a defensive coordinator. And now he has them. Well, I don't know what he's going to bring. We haven't seen enough of it yet.
Yep. And listen, we can end up with this, Dave. And when the Dolphins talk about being different, they can show me that they're different by beating Buffalo. And that's pretty much the only early season way that they can show me that they're different, because we've seen them have the 8-3 start. We've seen them have the 9-3 start. If I'm not mistaken, under Mike McDaniel, they're 7-1 in September. 4-0 at home in September. So we've seen pretty much everything. We've even seen them beat Buffalo here in September. But this time you're not going to have that wilting heat and humidity to work in your favor. But yeah, if you want to show me that you're a different team, win on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not packing everything into that. I thought if they get off to a 2-1 start, considering Jacksonville, Buffalo at home, then Seattle, that'd be fine way to start the year, depending on everything else. But you want to see them compete this game, and this is the team they have to get over at some point. They got to get what they want, home field advantage. The easiest way to get that is to beat Buffalo. And let's face it, Buffalo made some costly decisions, and their roster isn't as good as it's been. Even before Matt Milano got hurt for the season. And so this, if not now, when? If you're not going to get over Buffalo this year, when are you going to get over them?
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dave, that's going to do it for this edition of Dolphins Deep Dive. My building did not catch on fire.
Fire alarm. Deep dive.
Boo, we need an alarm for the assessment that's about to come up, man. My building was built in 1966, so we're about to get slammed. Matter of fact, we have a HOA meeting tonight that, boy, I love my neighbors until I see them at the HOA meeting. Anyway, that's a whole different discussion.
Welcome to South Florida, baby.
I know. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. That's Dave Hyde. I'm Chris Perkins. We will see you all next Tuesday at noon, sunsentinel.com. Dolphins Deep Dive with Perkins.